With the 15th pick and with the 26th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Washington Redskins select Dwayne Haskins, Montez Sweat.
Welcome, all my fellow Redskin brethren and sister. I am your man and resident Redskins fan, Lou. Thank you for joining me here on the Redskins Report. So it looks like the Redskins have finally come to their senses. I talked about this earlier on a video talking about the first 3 days of camp and how things have gone and how left tackle is a problem. We don't know what the Trent situation is going to yield. Left guard is a problem. How about taking one of those issues off the table? Now, I still am in the camp that Trent is going to show up. But in the event that he doesn't, you need reassurance that week 1 isn't going to be an epic disaster. Week 2 isn't going to be an epic disaster, and so forth and so forth. Donald Penn is still a quality left tackle that can help you. Not for very long. Okay, he's 36 years old. But if you're looking for a 1-year stopgap to get you to next year's draft, where you have to assume that if this Trent Williams situation doesn't resurrect itself, the Redskins will probably have to spend an early draft choice on an offensive tackle, whether that be in the first or the second round. It's going to have to happen. But in the meantime, we can't talk about the 2020 draft. We're talking about 2019 season. And if you don't get left tackle handled, you're going to have problems this season. All right. So in order to put that to rest, the Redskins needed to do something. I'm not telling you Donald Penn is the end all be all. I'm telling you he's better than anyone we have currently at camp. Not on the roster, because Trent Williams technically is still on the roster. Not on the roster. He's better than anyone we have in camp to play left tackle. So the Redskins had to act fast. I talked about this on the video that the Redskins were literally, another team having a left tackle injury away from them picking up the phone and calling Donald Penn and saying, hey, we'll offer you, and I don't know what the specifics of this deal potentially will be. Now, again, Donald Penn still hasn't signed on the dotted line yet. He is not officially a member of the Washington Redskins, but it is reported that he is going to sign with the Redskins on a 1-year deal, which is music to all of our ears because, as I mentioned earlier, the Redskins needed to act fast. Donald Penn had all of the leverage because, again, I'm 36 years old. I'm sitting on my couch waiting for the phone to ring. I don't have to necessarily play for peanuts, which is what you're trying to offer me. That's Bruce Allen's go-to move. I'm going to try and lowball you, and if you take it, great. If you don't, then we'll come back to the drawing board and maybe start talking some real turkey. And for Donald Penn, he had to pull the Redskins' bluff. He had to pull their card and say, all right, cool. You're not going to talk about some real numbers here. I'm just going to get back on a flight and go home. When you're serious about me signing, you call my agent and we'll make this thing happen. The Redskins looked at their situation. They had a day off of practice yesterday. They looked at their situation and they said, look, we can't afford for some other team to have an injury at left tackle and have Donald Penn sign with them. We need to get this guy in here, whether Trent comes back or not. We need reassurance that if he doesn't, and we say have to trade Trent, all right, and get some value for him, we need to know that we will be fine come week 1. Donald Penn assures you that you're not going to be a train wreck at left tackle. All right. Now, are you going to be set at left tackle? Maybe, maybe not. That remains to be seen in terms of the 2019 season. He gives you an opportunity to not be a train wreck. And at this point, as a Redskins fan, that's probably all you can ask for with the situation being what it is right now. Again, I still think Trent's coming back right before the season starts. Not a moment before, not a moment after. I think he'll be here somewhere in that September 1st, August 30th, August 31st window, somewhere in there right before the season starts, which will give him enough time to get some practice under his belt and be ready for week 1 versus the Eagles. But in the event that he's not, you have reassurance. Look at Donald Penn as an insurance, a policy, all right? You need to have that. And that's what Ty and Seki was for us for all of these years, all right? man, was it always comforting to know that if something happened to Trent, we got Ty and Seki until we didn't. All right, until Ty and Seki was banged up. And then we had to start going through the whole rigmarole of bringing in tackles and trying to figure out what the hell we're going to do at left tackle. And then we realized, man, it's really nice to have a guy like Ty and Seki. Well, Ty and Seki's now a Buffalo Bill, and Jerron Christian hasn't really been healthy yet. So we'll figure out how this is going to go. Right now, if the Redskins get Donald Penn to sign, which I'm assuming is pending as we speak, and he is a member of the Washington Redskins, that's a huge relief in terms of the left tackle position. Whether Trent comes back or not, we're not going to be a dumpster fire at that position. That's what Donald Penn's presence ensures, if he's healthy, which I would assume at this point he is. So I feel good about that if Penn, in fact, is a member of the Washington Redskins, which I'm going to assume is going to take place. And that gives us a chance to now move Eric Flowers back to left guard and see how that experiment goes. If that doesn't go the way we want it to, then you got Wes Martin and a slew of other guys that you can try at left guard to figure out what's going to be the best combination of five. All right. Because Trent's absence left a void at left tackle, it left the left side of the line in limbo. Now, adding a guy like Donald Penn, even if you still have Jerron Christian on the mend, and he was supposed to be going through a little bit of practice today, but again, the Redskins want to take it slow with him. They can now with Donald Penn in the lineup. It gives them a viable option at left tackle. So now you can start to focus on a position that I told you this morning is of more concern to me than left tackle, left guard. All right, we've had issues at left guard for years. I'm looking to rectify that. And I really don't give a shit who it is at this point, whether it's Eric Flowers or it's Wes Martin or it's Tyler Catalina, which I know it's not going to be, but at this point, I really don't care who it is. Somebody needs to solidify left guard for us. I want it to be Wes Martin. If it's Eric Flowers, cool. I don't care who it is. We need to lock that position down. And I feel like if Donald Penn's at left tackle, Trent Williams at left tackle, whomever, all right, I feel confident that either one of those guys are going to do their job adequately. Trent will do it at a much higher level than Donald Penn, but Donald Penn is a serviceable left tackle in this league. I feel confident that he'll get us through the season if he's healthy, and I think we'll be able to survive at left tackle with him there. Left guard, to me, is a position that in the NFC East, with all the talented players that exist in this division on the interior of the defensive line, you, especially with the Eagles, all right, the Cowboys have a very talented defensive front themselves. They move guys around. If we're not stout inside at guard, we're going to get exposed in this division, all right? In this division. Not to mention, you look around at the teams that we have to play on our schedule, some really talented interior defensive linemen on those teams as well. I'd really like it if the Washington Redskins get their act together at left guard. And so bringing in a guy like Donald Penn potentially fixes two positions, not just one, potentially two positions. So this is a big signing for the Redskins if, in fact, Penn becomes a member of the club. And I think that's going to take place on a one-year deal. And also, what it does is it sets that Trent Williams domino in motion. If the Redskins are looking to potentially move him, now with a guy like Donald Penn on the roster, it becomes a little bit more possibility to have that done with a guy that you feel like can get you through the 2019 season and Donald Penn as your left tackle. So a lot of moving parts with the Redskins making this move. The signing of Robinson gives you a little bit of depth along with Jerron Christian and now Donald Penn. It gives you an opportunity to see if one of those two can, and Jerron Christian is going to be the swing tackle. Let's face it. That's why I told you the Robinson signing wasn't as big. It wasn't going to be a signing that was going to move the needle for me. I told you I don't expect him to even make the 53-man roster. And this Donald Penn signing pretty much solidifies that for me. If Jerron Christian is healthy, then Robinson is gone. If Jerron Christian isn't healthy and he can't get his act together from a health standpoint, then that's when you're going to see a guy like Robinson become more of an option to be the swing tackle on this football team. So the Donald Penn signing potentially will put a lot of things in order for the Redskins. This is a huge move, to be honest with you, because left tackle isn't a position you want to have in limbo. It's not a position to play around with in this league. Hell, either of your tackle positions for that matter. Now, defenses and defensive coordinators are getting so much more complex and smarter. You can't hide bad tackle play in this league. You just can't anymore. If you have a bad right tackle, it used to be a time where, guys didn't move around. If Reggie White was lining up at, right defensive end, then he was going up against the left tackle. That's where he was going to be. All right. If Derek Thomas was lining up at, outside linebacker on the left side of your offense, that's where he was going to be going against your left tackle. Now, these edge rushers, they move these guys snap to snap. You got some poor right tackle play, your right tackle's funky, they're going to find his ass. All right, and they're going to abuse him. So you can't hide poor tackle play in this league anymore. You really need both of your tackles to be quality, but at least on the right side, your quarterback should be able to see the pressure coming and do something about it. Blindside pressure can get your quarterback killed and can force turnovers. So it was important that the Redskins did something at left tackle, and the answer was Donald Penn. And that's not a bad answer at this point of camp, this point of the offseason. Donald Penn, not a bad option to be bringing in at this juncture. So I am a Redskins fan, etched in burgundy and gold. My Redskins spirit will never die. Redskins spirit will never fold until we meet again. Hail to our beloved Washington Redskins. It's a major move for us. This needed to be done. I still anticipate Trent coming in, but if he doesn't, it's not the end of the world now that we have a guy like Donald Penn that can get us through the 2019 season and allow us to get to 2020's draft and find the tackle of the future potentially, because I don't know if Jerron Christian is that or not. I'm your man Louie T, signing off. Until next time, you guys have a good one. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the Louie T Network if you haven't already done so, and I'll see you guys next time. Turn those notifications on too, so you don't miss a thing.
Louie T Network.